welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you fourth quarter. Horns in control in Austin. 34-16 is the score. And my goodness, I don't know that a lot of people had this result on their bingo card, but Texas dominating from the jump. And man, is it nice to see. Arch Manning and company on the field right now. 10 minutes to go. We're going to finish this game out with you right now. Arch in the shotgun. Wisner behind him. Little motion here. Handoff. A lot of this coming up right now to drain this clock. Getting a little chippy, isn't it? Getting a little chippy. Pavia, the Commodores and company, don't think they expected this kind of bludgeoning in Texas today. But here we are. Here we are. Texas asserting themselves as one of the top teams in college football. And I think most Longhorns fans, and look, even the non-Longhorns fans that are being honest with themselves, you knew that Texas had the talent to do this. And another thing that people really had kind of discounted, I felt like, was the fact that Texas hasn't played a home game since late September. We're in November right now. November 1st, granted. Texas hadn't played in Austin since September. I forget the exact date, but, September 27th, something like that. This has been a team that's been on the road for over a month, and they come back to DKR and absolutely dominate. Love to see it. First of all, here right on Rangers, we cover everything Texas sports, but we put a big emphasis on all the teams we love from the great state of Texas, including the Longhorns, and especially the Longhorns during the college football season. Thank you for joining us. We are going to bring you the best play-by-play color commentary we can as Arch makes a beautiful throw to Moore Jr. down into the flats area to get the first down. That was a long throw. Impressive by Arch. Arch has looked really good today. We'll also bring you post-game analysis. We'll take comments, questions, a lot of good stuff ahead, and always better, of course, when the Horns are winning a football game. And that's happened a lot this season. Couple of hiccups. Ohio State in the shoe. I don't think we can blame them too much there. At Florida in the swamp, I still think you should have had that game. I know the swamp's a tough place to play, but you still got everything in front of you. Everything in front of you right now. You got a big game coming up here in a couple of weeks in Athens against Georgia. But you control your own destiny. You win, and you're going to be in the playoff 1,000%. Appreciate it. Rest in peace, King Vaughn. Amen. Amen. What's good, McJay? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, brother. Look, there was a lot of pregame stuff. A lot of pregame stuff. And I'm not talking about hours before kickoff. Just in the week leading up, there was a lot of pregame chitter-chatter. We'll just say that. And I'm glad to see the Horns backing it all up right now. McJay, you and I were talking about Johnny Manziel running his mouth. Johnny can't say a positive thing about Arch, and I know it's hard for him. Of course, Johnny, he's been through a lot, and I don't want to turn this into a hate fest for Johnny Manziel. Look, I think like many college football fans around the country, was always wowed by his talent, but bro cannot say a positive thing about Arch and kind of goes out of his way to do so. To say negative. And I just got to say, look, respect. I get it. The rivalry, A&M, Texas. I wouldn't expect him to be waxing poetic about anything Texas Longhorns, but bro just goes out of his way. Probably doesn't even know this kid personally. I don't know. I would just think, I know you've got a podcast, Johnny Manziel, but for a guy that was labeled a bust pretty heavily in the NFL, I would just think he'd be a little bit more careful about who he decides to attack on his podcast. But you know what? To each their own, man. I think Arch proven a lot of people wrong. I know a couple of y'all were talking about Arch Manning and how he's looked like he turned a corner today. I'll say this. I don't think Arch is anywhere close to the ceiling. So whether he's turned a corner or not, I think most of us have watched this kid play, and we say to ourselves, the talent, like the pedigree is there. I don't want to sit here and claim that, we've seen a new Arch and we're never looking back. I think there's still going to be some hiccups here and there along the way, but he hasn't reached his ceiling. That's for sure. He has not reached his ceiling. So whether today is the turning point or not, I think we can all agree he can get a lot better. And that's scary because the Horns have won 6 now almost. I'm going to take a little pause here. 7 of the games that he's played out of 9. It's impressive. I mean, they have won 7 out of 9 games, and Arch apparently through most of those games has been pretty terrible if you ask the national media. I think Longhorns fans will definitely admit that Arch has not lived up to expectations, but he's growing, he's developing. This is his first real opportunity in college football, getting the reins of a big blue blood program like Texas. I don't want to say we can cut him some slack, but I will say you can understand why maybe there were some struggles initially, especially when you got to play your first game in the shoe against Ohio State. Whew. Brian, what's good, man? I mean, Brian, it's so funny that you say this, and I'm going to make sure I get to all y'all on TikTok in a second here. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. Cue the, it's Vandy. It's Vandy. Cue those comments. Get used to a lot of that on your feed, on your timeline over the next few days. Bro, it's Vandy. It's Vandy, bro. Cue that, man. You're going to see a ton of that. A ton of that over the next few days. You know it. Arch going deep. Oh, baby. Mosley talking that talk. Mosley with the big catch. And they said Arch can't throw the deep ball. They said he can't throw the deep ball. Arch Manning. Oh, yeah, you heard that in the halftime show. Oh, it's a lot of short passes. It's a lot of short passes. Oh, come on. Oh, did he drop it? Oh, he dropped it. Mosley, no. No, Mosley. Oh, no. Emmett, come on, baby. Don't do us like that. It looked like it hit ground. Oh, what a beautiful throw. Nonetheless, whether this is completed or not, what a beautiful throw. He's getting held like crazy. Is there no penalty on that? I didn't even pay attention. Is there no penalty on that? He's getting held like crazy. As I was saying, y'all, you absolutely know that you are going to start hearing a ton of excuses. Everybody going to be saying, it's Vandy, it's Vandy, and just trying to demean what the Horns have done here today. Vandy's a top 10 team. I'm sorry. They're a top 10 team, like it or not. We've had to respect the rankings up to this point. Texas continues to get ranked right around that 20 spot. Vandy sitting at number 9. Come on now. Give credit where it's due, man. In reality, though, who did Vandy beat? Their best win is Missouri. One of my A&M fans in one of the group chats I'm in, one of my A&M friends, I should say, if such a thing exists. I love all of them, but look, he said South Carolina because at the time they were a top 10 team. I'm sorry, South Carolina and Missouri are your best wins. Who had Vandy played? They had played nobody. Just spoiler alert on that one. They had played nobody. Nobody. At least with Texas, you're losing to an SEC squad in Florida that definitely has not played up to caliber this year, but you're losing on the road. And then you're also playing the best team in football right now, arguably, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yeah, I got to say, it feels like you are going to have a lot of people discounting what Texas did today eventually. That's always what it devolves into. Nobody can give Texas credit. Yeah, they'll find a way. You know they will. They'll find a way. Yeah, that's what I mean. Brett, you're making my point, Brett. You're making my point. You're going to hear a lot of people starting to say Vandy isn't good, even though a ton of people got into my comments and told me that Texas was for sure losing this weekend. And they didn't say that ironically, by the way. I mean, you cannot have it both ways, man. Make up your mind. Vandy's either good or they're not good. And nobody was saying Vandy was not that good coming into this weekend. Oh, they beat South Carolina. They just beat Missouri. They just find a way to win. You heard it all. Come on now. Either Vandy's good or they're not. And nobody was saying they're overrated coming into this game. 0 people. 0 people. Look, I didn't think Vandy was that good coming into this weekend. I didn't. I'll say it right now, Brett. I agree with you on that, but that's not what the national narrative was, and I think you know that. The national narrative was not Vandy isn't that good. That was my narrative. I thought Vandy was going to be a challenge. I didn't think we were going to win 34-16 or better. I think Vandy was going to be a challenge. I didn't think Texas was going to lose this game. In fact, I told you guys on the show last week, I think the Georgia game is the one that I'm most worried about. A&M would be next. And then this Vandy game is probably a distant third. 51-yard field goal coming here from Shipley. Same team that gave up 38 to Michigan State. Shoot. They did, didn't they? Funny, though, they got the win. That's all that matters, man. At this point, you just got to survive in advance. You guys know how I feel about this. I know some of y'all are brand new, but look, style points to me at this point, where we're at in college football, looks like a miss here coming from Ship, unfortunately, 34-16. Still a 3-score game. Style points to me are not that relevant anymore in college football. You got to win games. You got to survive. You got to win games. Vandy beat LSU, McJ, but I don't know if anybody is taking LSU seriously anymore, are they? I mean, McJ, you tell me. I could be wrong. Is anybody taking LSU seriously anymore? 34-16 is the score at this point. Vandy losing to Texas, and this one has really never been in doubt. Got a little interesting, didn't it? You had Vandy scoring to make it 24-10. Vandy had the ball coming out of the half. Texas quickly turned the ball over on a punt, and then after that, really haven't looked back since. We're so back. Ethan, you said it, not me, brother. I'm holding my breath. I got to see what we do in Athens. After that, we'll definitely be able to know a lot more. Texas has a cupcake schedule. That's hilarious. That is so hilarious. Texas has a cupcake schedule. We went to the shoe week 1 and played Ohio State. But yeah, cupcake schedule. Give me a break. I mean, I don't know. You can't help some people. You just can't. You can't. We go to the shoe week 1. We literally just played a month of football on the road. We haven't had a home game since late September, but Texas has a cupcake schedule. Okay. Sure. Whatever you say. JJ, enjoy the bye week. It's going to be fun later this month, brother. It's going to be fun. That's going to be a good game. That is going to be a good game. In Austin, Horns took it at Kyle Field last year in Austin. A&M undefeated so far. That should be a great game. Arkansas beats Texas next week. I don't think so. But y'all say this every week, so I'm not shocked. It's literally the same thing except delete Arkansas and put Vandy in there. That's what everybody told me coming into this week. Texas loses to Vandy next week. Ton of that. Yep. McJay, we're going to know a lot here over the next few weeks. I didn't realize Texas had the double bye, though. You got another bye coming up. I do like Sark with 2 weeks of prep against Georgia. That's got to work to Sark's advantage and to Texas' advantage. You are playing on the road, so it's going to be tough. It doesn't matter if you have 2 weeks to prepare. I am just saying, I like that you've got 2 weeks. Sark, the offensive mind that he is, and he's had some great play calls today. I like Sark with 2 weeks to prepare. Hey, Dakota, good stuff, brother. Credit to the Gators for beating Texas. I mean, that I think we're seeing that was a good win for them. I know some people don't want to admit it. Texas is a good football team. They'll probably only move up like 2 spots in the rankings, and I'm sure that OU will be ranked better. Man, this secondary has got to figure it out. This secondary has got to figure it out. Pavia with a deep touchdown, wide open, blown coverage. This secondary is a little bit of a mess right now. Nah, McJ, we ain't holding the phone. It's over. This one's over. But nevertheless, not good. You do not want to see Vandy put some points on right now, just for pride's sake. Catherine, are you ignoring me because you didn't go to Texas? Is it only I just have a question. Is it only A&M fans that think that that's some kind of great burn or like super like awesome mic drop? I just don't really understand it. Is it A&M fans only? Or is it more? Or is that the only fan base that thinks it's a big deal if you didn't go there? I'm genuinely curious. I don't know. So it's not, Catherine, is what you're saying. There's a lot of people that think that this is like some epic mic drop. If you didn't go to the school, you can't be a real fan. I just don't understand that. No, a couple other people were saying it along the way. A couple people were saying it along the way, and I just don't get it at all. No, I wasn't there during 2005. McJ, it's super easy to get into A&M. That's why. Nice. Oh, no. Definitely went to college around that time, Catherine, but no, did not go to Texas. Got in, decided to go play some college baseball instead at a real small school in Nebraska. The rest is history. Ton of my family went to Texas, though. That's kind of how I became a fan. My uncle went. My dad went to college in Austin as well. Spent a lot of time on that campus. So, look, we've got a lot of UT in the blood. Almost went there myself, but decided to play some college baseball instead. I don't think he got there. I don't really know what we're reviewing here. Didn't look like he got there. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you're going to be able to overturn that. Manning isn't the Heisman. What do you think? What school in Nebraska? Concordia, brother, which is like 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away from Lincoln. If you know where that's at, I'll be impressed. Hardly anybody knows what I'm talking about when I throw that out there. Hook'em Horns, Juan, appreciate you. Yeah, I don't think Manning is going to win the Heisman. Husker, yes. Yes. It's a good old Seward, baby, right? Went to several games at Memorial Stadium when I was there. That place is wild. Look, clearly Texas, Nebraska have got a little bad blood in between them with some of their games over the years. Classic games. But I did go to the last game, and I'm not trying to bring this up to rub salt or anything, Husker, so don't take this the wrong way, brother. But I went to the very last game between Texas and Nebraska in Lincoln in 2010. It was an ugly game offensively for Texas. Kind of an ugly game all around, I thought, for both teams. But Texas ended up winning, I think, 20-13 or 20-10, something like that, very last game. But that stadium is electric. It's incredible. Look, if you could just get the recruits to go to a game there, can you just get them into the stadium? I don't know how you're a college football player. You go to a game at Memorial and you're not just in awe of all of they have going on there with atmosphere. It's incredible. I mean, words can't describe. It is a great place to watch a football game. I'll say that. Husker, appreciate all the comments, man. Reed for Heisman? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it or not. Look, they actually showed Marcel Reed and Arch Manning side by side, and the stats weren't that different. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I was looking at something crazy, but they showed Arch Manning stats, and then they showed Marcel Reed stats. It just didn't look like anything crazy. Good hands on the onside. Good hands. All right, McJ, if that wouldn't have been recovered, I would have said hold the phone. You got a golf offer from Concordia? That's awesome, man. Look, pretty much paid for school. And I would have loved to have gone to UT, but at some point, you're weighing out all the options and you're like, I think I'll avoid the option that's going to put me into a lot of debt and get my school paid for. So, look, no humble brags. I'm not trying to be that way at all. But my college baseball career was nothing illustrious, trust me. But some great memories, great experience, and avoided a lot of money in debt at the end of the day. We'll take it. Texas running this football, just trying to eat clock here. Roll Tide. Look, they have definitely turned a huge corner after that first loss. I mean, I think a lot of people were thinking DeBoer was going to be gone. Who do I got? I want Daily Beans. I want Blue Jays. Go Max Scherzer, the fighting Max Scherzers. I'll take Blue Jays tonight. Blue Jays tonight. Heartbreaking loss. It really did remind me of the 2025 Texas Rangers watching that World Series game. Like, you have second and third, no out, and you somehow find a way to not score. That's the 2025 Texas Rangers in a nutshell, by the way. And I know not all y'all are Rangers fans, but of course, y'all see the flag on my wall behind me. We're big Texas Rangers fans here at Ride on Rangers, hence the name of the channel. Every Wednesday, we do an off-season Rangers show. During the season, we're live pretty much after every game. It's awesome. If you're not a Rangers fan, come hang out anyways during our baseball lives. Talk some trash. As you can see, it's all fun and good. Being at any game is really fun unless it's Mississippi State. I'll admit, man, college football, I'm not a big fan of NFL live football. I mean, I will go, trust me. And I don't think that it's, like, you know, I don't think it's the worst experience in the world. But NFL, I don't know. It's a little different. I really enjoy watching college football games live, though, in the stadium. I mean, the commercial breaks, it's a lot of sitting around. But I will say, I definitely will go to a college football game over NFL. James Thompson, yes, sir. Go Stros. Julian, we'll forgive you. We'll forgive you. We like to go back and forth. We got a number of Stros fans that follow the show. It's all in good fun. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. Brett, they got a couple of weeks, right? I mean, I think Taft is going to be back in a couple of weeks for that Georgia game. Hopefully they can get healthy all the way around, man. It's nice that they're going into the bye week right now, though. It really is. All right, Texas up 34-24, trying to bleed some clock here to get this one to the finish line. Ohio State, that game just went final, 38-14. They beat Penn State. Where do we think Texas is going to end up after this week? Are we going to break the top 15? I would like to think that Texas is going to be at least 15th. You beat a top 10 team. You've had some good wins this year already. You beat OU. You played Ohio State really, really close. You've got some gutsy. You've got some gritty wins on the road. I've got to think they're going to be at least top 15. We'll see. We'll see. I feel like they should be a lot closer. Joey, I feel like it should be a lot closer to the top 10. But I'd like to think that they're cracking top 15. I don't understand right now. And look, a couple of my buddies pointed out, like, dude, it doesn't matter. The rankings. You know, they got to play Georgia. They got to play Vandy. It doesn't matter, bro. I'm like, you're right, but it kind of does to me. I don't know. Maybe it's like pride for my team, but I'm just not at all a fan of Texas continually being ranked this low. I know that they're escaping, but these are road games in the SEC. We've been told for years how tough road games are in the SEC, and I feel like now we're discounting. And my question is, how are they going to discount this win against us, right? How are they going to demean this win? What do I mean by they? I don't know, the haters, the media. How is this win against Vanderbilt going to get demeaned? I mean, I've already got the blueprint. They're just going to tell you it's Vandy. Come on, it's Vandy. Yeah, they had, look, you look at the schedule. They hadn't really played anybody. You know it's coming. We all know, though, the people that have been watching this team, yes, the execution has not been great. It has not been great. But that being said, we have a team that's very talented, a little banged up on the defensive side. I mean, look, Anthony Hill and Collin Simmons are still out there causing havoc. But nevertheless, you get Michael Taft back. That is huge. And you get Arch Manning continuing his progression. Here we go. This is good. I wanted to see this. So we've got Vandy losing, Miami beating SMU 20-17 right now. Ole Miss plays South Carolina. Tech plays NC State. Georgia, Florida. That should be fun. You know what, Dakota? You probably are right. You probably are right on this one. And I think you have seen a movement where people are trying to knock the SEC down a couple of pegs. I think you could be onto something there. Appreciate you, brother. Football has too many commercials. Amen. Amen. Some people were telling me because of all the YouTube TV drama, they bought the ESPN, like universal, like all encompassing package. Some people were saying it's like ads on ads on ads. I'm not going to lie. I just decided to break down. I bought Fubo today. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm like, I do not want to get creative. I'm not too proud to do that, by the way. Like, if I got to search for a stream, I will. But, like, you know what? I do not want to mess around with the alt version of Stream East, man. I just don't want to do that. I'm not too proud to do it. I think it's honestly just me getting old. Like, I don't want to mess with that. It's frustrating. I don't want to mess with it. Come on now. So I just bought Fubo. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll switch back at some point, but it's a little expensive. I don't love that, but I also don't love bending over backwards to get a stream for free that probably buffers multiple times and is like 30 seconds to a minute behind the actual game. I don't know. Hey, you do you. You do you. That's where I'm at right now in life. Why so many Blue Jays fans get upset about the umps calling it a dead ball. One and only, they showed a play from 2016 with Yoenis Cespedes. And that guy's been out of baseball for a little while now. But they showed the umpire after Cespedes put his arms up. They showed the umpire going in and grabbing the ball out. Like, bro, you could have grabbed this. And they actually allowed the inside the park home run. That was from a Mets game back in 2016. Now, I do think if that is what you're using as evidence, it does feel a little bit off that they did not allow the inside the park home run to stand last night, because Dean picked the ball up pretty easily and threw it in seconds after the umps raised their hand up, dead ball. I do think that's the main argument. I do think that is the main argument. Why in that 2016 clip is the ump going in and showing Cespedes, yeah, dude, look, you could have just grabbed this right out. It's not stuck. I think that is the biggest argument, but I don't think that the rule is in question. I actually think letter of the law, the rule, according to the rule book, it was called correctly. But it feels like there is a small amount of gray area. And I just have to keep going back to that Cespedes clip, man. Why is that ump going in? Bro, you could have grabbed it. You go and watch the clip. It's 2016 Cespedes Mets. And it's not quite as similarly lodged, but I just don't understand, man. I just don't understand why that play in particular was called the way it was. Because it seemed like Dean grabbed that ball out of the wall pretty easily. I think we all can agree on that. Sure, it was lodged, but it wasn't stuck. It wasn't unplayable. Man, they just keep showing this dude's mom, don't they? I mean, I was wondering who this was. And then I connected all the dots with Theo Vaughn, the mom, everything else. Man, she has gotten a lot of airtime today. Good for her, I guess. All right, we got 34-24, 3 minutes left here. Pavia escaping some pressure. Deep throw downfield. And we got an incomplete pass. They're getting a little desperate right now. This is a little bit interesting. If you're somebody that likes to throw a little money down on games, I believe Texas closed as a 3-point favorite. Like that little pop from that we gave Pavia on the end of that play. Thank you very much. We'll take that. 2:56 left. He did say it, but you know, Rangers fans, we don't love John Smoltz too much from 2023, do we? We're not big John Smoltz fans here. America is for the Dodgers. Nah. This is so funny. I've got, you know, friends and, you know, just casual acquaintances, colleagues that say the same thing to me. Come on, you can't root for Canada. Like, bro, like everybody on the Blue Jays is American. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't think there's anybody on the Blue Jays that's Canadian. Is there? One person, two people maybe? Is there anybody on the Blue Jays that's actually Canadian? I don't know. That is not something that I feel like has been publicized greatly, which would seem odd. If there was actually a Canadian player that was on the Blue Jays. Yeah, we're counting Vladimir Guerrero. That's true. Pavia goes down. 1 yard line. Big sack. This is the most he's been sacked all season. This Horns defense is smothering. That's right. Vladdy was born in Canada, I think, technically. So we're claiming him as the token Canadian on the team. I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm just not there with the USA versus Canada thing, man. Most of those dudes are American or they're not from Canada. Wow, we're going 4th and 19. We're going for it on 4th and 19. Okay, then. Here we go. Ball is snapped. Pavia in the backfield. Fires it deep. They might convert. Oh, they're going to convert it. Man, they got to get this secondary healthy, don't they? They got to get this secondary healthy. Shoot, man. Somebody else is hurt? You got to be kidding me. Oh, my goodness. You got to be kidding me. Somebody else is hurt. I didn't see who it was. Y'all let me know. Who was it? Oh, jeez. At what cost are we going to win this football game? We're going to lose half the defense? Oh, goodness. I didn't see what happened. I mean, I saw the play. I didn't see exactly what happened with the injury. Pull up to the A&M tailgate if you go to the game. I will not be at the game. I can tell you that right now. We already got some Thanksgiving plans. Gonna go see the in-laws. We will not be at the game. Maybe pulling up on the live after the game, but nah, we are not going to be at the game. Would love to. Someday I will make it to one. I've actually never been. I've watched many on TV, but I've never been to a UT A&M game. Never been to a Lone Star Showdown game. CMC, Disney jacking up the prices. YouTube TV doesn't want to pay it. That's what's going on. I don't know. Yeah, I had to ditch YouTube TV. I was not trying at all to miss college football today. I'm sorry. I had to ditch YouTube TV. It's probably not their fault, but I'm not trying to get in the crosshairs of YouTube TV and Disney. I just want to watch college football, man. Vladdy himself, I bet he does claim the DR over Canada. 100%. Yeah, this game with the refs, it is getting a little bit out of hand. It definitely is with the refs. They've got some chippiness they're dealing with as well. Yeah. Still a commercial break here. Look, this game, it's going to take a miracle for Vandy to even tie it. 10-point lead for the Horns, but maybe We're a little bit curious in terms of the spread. -3, I think, is what it closed at. So we'll see what happens. See if Pavia can make it interesting here. I'm checking out some stats from the game. We've got for receiving and rushing, Wisner, by the way, over 100 all-purpose yards. Wisner does have a touchdown as well today. He's got to be one of the offensive players of the game. Of course, Ryan Wingo starting off the game with that 75-yard touchdown. He's got to be up there. But Arch Manning, I think you got to look at him. 328 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, QBR at 189. Added 4 yards on the ground. I think Arch Manning definitely got to get the game ball on the offensive side today. Why did Maddox leave the Rangers? Somebody actually had a good comment on TikTok that I'm going to steal as the rain starts coming down here in Austin. I think that Maddox was a little bit tied to Bochy. I think that, he signed up to coach with Bochy, and Bochy left, and so I think you had a little bit less of an inclination to stay. That's my take. And who knows? I mean, I think that they could have had him back if they really wanted him back. Maybe they just wanted a fresh start. Skip Schumacher, I think as a new manager, he's entitled to that. Vandy moving the ball pretty well here. I mean, there's a $1:30 left on the clock, but they're moving the ball pretty well here. You definitely have a large group of people in the sports book right now cheering for a Vandy score to at least push the bets, right? You can get this one back to a 3-point game. Pavia wrapped up. 2nd and 10. He just gets rid of that football. Jack, I'm with you. I'm with you on this. Osuna especially, man. I'd love for him to reach his potential. It was funny seeing Chris Woodward. It was kind of a blast from the past seeing Woody coach first base for the Dodgers. I kind of forgot about that for a second. I knew he was a Dodgers coach. I didn't realize he was the first base coach. Rye Heat, Arch definitely growing up in this game. This is big. And I know a couple of you guys are asking about my thoughts on Arch. Arch, to me, has shown progression over his last several games. I think the Mississippi State game was absolutely a positive step. And I think today against a top 10 team at home, showing out 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns. I don't think there's a lot of negatives to say about Arch. He's thrown some good deep balls downfield. This isn't, dink and dunk city. Clearly the Wingo touchdown and some of the other ones were short passes, screens. But Arch has thrown the ball downfield pretty well today when he's been asked to do so. Should have had a touchdown to Emmett Mosley. Mosley got to haul that one in. I know it's not an easy catch, but you think Mosley should be able to make that one. Arch put it in a perfect spot, honestly. Lot to be impressed with Arch Manning today as Pavia delivers a strike to the outside. Vandy's going to get this one inside the 20-yard line. I know this Texas defense is bleeding, but come on, boys. Come on, boys. And this one's to the 5-yard line. You wonder if Sark, can we get a timeout? Can we just get a timeout, Sark? I don't know. If it's me, I'm getting a timeout in. There's no reason. No reason to not. That's a hold. That should be a hold. Clear hold. I don't even know how a flag is not on the field. It should be. That was clear holding by Vanderbilt. Look, why not call a timeout if you're Sark? You got 3. They're going to snap the ball quick anyways. Call a timeout. Let the defense get settled, man. I don't even understand, man. You're going to have them snap that ball quickly anyways. You might as well get right by the official right before they snap the ball. Call a timeout and allow this defense to get set. Yeah, that's clear holding. It is on ABC. It's on ABC. Jack, I'm with you on that one. Don't question my coach. Sark's had a good game today. He's had a great game today. And look, that penalty created a little natural break. Pass out to the flats. A hurdle attempt is no good. but they get within the 10-yard line here. Muhammad with a nice tackle. Sark, by the way, man, I think y'all saw him rip Muhammad a new one, man, when they scored before halftime. Pavia standing in the pocket, flushed out. Touchdown. 33 seconds left. And Pavia's mom is very happy. Pavia's mom, very, very happy. I think they've shown her about 30 times today on the broadcast, maybe more. 34-30. Look, gonna need the onside kick here. Pretty unlikely. Game is over if they do not recover the onside kick. Boom. At this point, the only thing you're really worried about is overtime, but they got to recover the onside kick. What are we doing? McJ, just bad defense, a soft defense, and the secondary a little bit beat up as well. It's not good. Not the way you want to finish, but look, they've got 2 weeks off after this. I'm not really worried a lot about momentum. I got to say that. You just got to survive this game. You got to survive this game. I'm not worried about any poor effects from this game into the Georgia game. You got 2 weeks off. You just got to get this one to the finish line. That's really it. Did we win? Not yet. 33 seconds left. Do I think it's... No, Salvador, I don't think it's disrespectful because, look, I live in Vegas and I do not root for the Raiders. I do cheer and I do appreciate the Golden Knights, but I don't root for the Raiders. UNLV, I actually got one of my degrees from UNLV, so I don't mind seeing them do well. But, yeah, I got to say, if you grew up in the Metroplex and you're not cheering for the Rangers, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Did we win? Yes or no? Almost, bro. Almost. Refs doing everything in their power to make Vandy cover the spread. Look, you said it, not me. I've kind of had a similar thought going throughout this fourth quarter. But Pavia, he refuses to quit under any circumstances. Don't you just love ESPN rizzing this guy up? I mean, that is exactly what we're hearing right now. ESPN just rizzing this dude up. He refuses to quit under any circumstances. Diego Pavia. Come on, dude. Garbage. We're giving him love for garbage touchdowns? Come on now. Here's the onside kick. Out of bounds. Out of bounds. That's going to get reviewed. Let's see. Game over. Man, my guy almost blew it. My guy almost blew it. Was that Livingston? Was that Livingston that almost blew it? Jeez. Man, if you're Patterson, it's unfortunate because you're in the heat of the moment, but bro needed to swat that back in bounds. He tried to recover it. That's tough, man. I know he's not going to be able to think about that in the moment, but you have got to bat that back. Your momentum is going way too crazy for you to pick that up. You're already, man, they are already just waxing poetic over Vanderbilt. What is the problem, man? They just got beat. Who cares how valiant the effort was to come back? They lost. They lost. And we're already getting Vanderbilt. Oh, they're so valiant. They don't give up. They're so resilient. What a valiant effort. Come on now. They just lost. All right, let's listen to Sark real quick.
Why and how do you think he's playing his best right now? Well, first of all, we're always going to make things interesting around here, I guess. Maybe let's make it a little easier, but I just thought Arch played a great game. You know, he got through his reads, he was checking the ball down, he took advantage of those when we were there. Just played really in command of football. That's what it takes, you know. And he's been growing and getting better all year, and this was his best game. Congrats on that, Coach. Thank you.
You can see by his reaction, the happenings at the end have certainly diminished. Looked like it was going to be a rousing victory.
It's all good. That's what I say. The fact that they come back at the end, it really doesn't matter. You got a bye week coming up. You got 2 weeks off. It didn't matter if you won this game 34-16 or 34-31. You won a game against the top 10, but you know this is just going to be some fuel for the haters. Oh, man, you almost let Vandy come back. Come on, bro. You just beat a top 10 team. I don't even want to hear it. I know that ESPN's going to do their best to pump up Diego Pavia and his mom, but they lost. They lost. It is what it is. Texas beat Vandy and the refs today 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. And y'all don't hear me going off about the refs all the time. But, man, I don't think there's any denying there were some questionable calls at the end. 100%. I want to say this. You got 2 weeks to prepare against Georgia. Probably the most ideal time to have a bye. You got to go on the road. And that is wild. The Horns have had, one home game since September, and now you're going to go play another one on the road very next week after a couple weeks off. But we have a cupcake schedule, right? We got a cupcake schedule. Literally, you look at the schedule, and we have played one home game since late September, but we got a cupcake schedule. All right. All right. Hey, we're going to do some talking about the Georgia matchup. Georgia, by the way, playing Florida right now. I'm going to keep this on. I'm going to keep this game on. There's DJ Lagway. They're showing all the Florida guys, Florida interim coach. We'll watch a little bit of this game with you guys before we close up shop. Almost sold, but you know what? We were playing such a soft defense there. Like, do I want to see us give up all those touchdowns at the end? No. But that defense, we were just playing soft, trying to get that one to the finish line. I mean, look, it felt like half the defense got hurt in this game at some point. Like I said, with 2 weeks off, I'm not too worried about how that finished. We keep going. Manning, 328 passing and 3 tutties. McJay, appreciate all the comments today, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, Arch was great. I think clearly this was his best game of the year and of his college football career. And he appears to keep getting a little bit better each week. Wasn't sure if he was even going to play. Remember Caldwell, the touchdown to win the game against Mississippi State in Starkville? A lot of people were thinking it was going to be Matt Caldwell, but Arch passes concussion protocol, and he is able to go today. And, man, looked 100%, looked good. Looked like every bit of the guy that was billed to us at the beginning of the year. Great stuff from Arch, man. Great stuff. All right, let's keep rolling. What do I got to do? I got to fix this ticker here on YouTube real quick. See if I can get it figured out for y'all. Appreciate all you guys. Concussion changed his confidence. Apparently, man. All right, box score. What do we got? Game stats. All right, let's do game stats. Sweet. All right, there we go. I guess it's transparent, so it really doesn't matter. Appreciate all the follows, by the way. The real ending score is 34-10. Let's be honest. I will say this. Yeah, a lot of help at the end there from the officials. And Texas playing soft coverage, playing with some guys hurt. I'm not too worried about that ending. Some people might try and make a little bit more out of it than what they should, but I'm not worried about that ending. Like, at all. You got 2 weeks to prepare for Georgia. You got a bye week. There's so much that you're going to be doing before that bye week. And look, one thing that the Horns have shown that they can do pretty consistently is get up for the big teams. They did it today against Vandy. They did it against Ohio State. I know they didn't get the win, but they did it against Ohio State. That was a one-score game, and Arch had an opportunity to win or tie the game at the end. Texas, I am not too worried about them getting up for these big games. It doesn't mean that they're going to win them, but I think that the game against Georgia in a couple weeks is going to be close. I think it's going to be a tight game. I don't think Georgia is some juggernaut that the Horns just cannot reckon with. Do I think Texas wins 100%? No. I think that there are some variables one way or the other. Arch Manning being a big one. Health being another big one for this secondary. But that's a game that Texas can absolutely win. They can absolutely beat Georgia. But I'm not saying it's money in the bank. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if they go in there and have a great game and win it. Wouldn't be surprised if they didn't look great and lost it either. It's kind of how I feel. Georgia got to get past Florida tonight. Go Florida for sure. But you know what? Honestly, the game that Georgia has next week, and I don't know who it's against. Let me see if I can look it up. Who does Georgia play after this? That's my question. Do they have like some cupcake going into it? Do they have another big game? They play Mississippi State in Starkville. We'll see how they do. I think that would be an interesting one. How is Georgia going to do in Starkville? We saw how Texas did. Now Georgia's got to go. I think that is going to be a good game, and we got a couple of pretty good games, I think, coming up for Georgia. We'll see how they respond. That will be interesting. I would almost rather them win both of them, though. The last thing I think you want is a pissed-off Georgia team play in Texas after a loss. Because, look, Georgia's 6-1 right now. If they lose a second game, not only do you have that embarrassment factor, hey, we want to go out and prove to everybody that we're actually a really good team, but then you're in survival mode like Texas is. I really don't want to see Georgia come in with some chip on their shoulder. I'm not saying they're going to be demotivated in any way, but I want to see Georgia win the next couple of games because you're going to get a really desperate Bulldogs team otherwise, and a pissed off one too, trying to prove people wrong. So I almost hope they win these two games and maybe not win them resoundingly, but win them comfortably. So you have no edges coming into that game. That would be my preference. We'll see what ends up happening. Look, if they lose, I'm not going to cry about it. Don't get me wrong. But I think the last thing you want is any extra motivation or bulletin board material for Georgia coming into that Texas game. If they come in 8-1, beating Gators, beating Bulldogs, I think that's probably a better spot that you want them in than having just lost in Starkville. And they've got to win at home against the Horns to keep their season alive. We'll see. No, Red Man, the opposite, brother. We ain't going to cry if Georgia doesn't win against Florida. I'll be happy for Florida to win. But honestly, if you're breaking it down, I don't want Georgia with any extra motivation coming into that game in a couple of weeks. Almost, Chandler, but the key word is almost. You got the win. SMU just tied Miami. A bunch of y'all are saying that too. Excellent. Maybe that's the game I need to get on real quick. What channel is that on? Oh, here. It's right here. ESPN. Sweet. It's right here. Just pulled it up. All right. We got this. We got the ESPN broadcast going. Miami, SMU right now. We'll finish this one out. SMU, baby. That would be fun. That would be fun. Look, SMU, you guys know I grew up in the Metroplex. We're going to overtime right now. Miami not even going to attempt, even with one timeout, they're not even going to attempt to try to move the ball here. Little surprised at that. Texas couldn't beat UGA at home or a neutral site. UGA will dog walk Texas in Athens. I don't know about that. I don't think it's going to be a dog walk by any stretch of the imagination. Cowboys Monday night, right? I'm going to have to get creative on Monday night. Some of you guys know I coach a middle school football team here in town, and we have our last game of the season on Monday night. So it's fun. The boys are hyped up Monday Night Football, but we are not going to be able to do our usual Cowboys broadcast. Might be able to do like a super late one. We'll see. I might hop on and do a real late night one, but going to have to get creative on that Cowboys broadcast. Jack, yes, sir. Do I support any soccer teams? You know what? Not crazy, if I'm being honest. I will say this. I love the Champions League stuff, and when it gets down to the nitty-gritty at the end of the EPL season, that's fun too. But consistently, no. That being said, I could definitely enjoy watching soccer. I like when it's USA. I definitely enjoy like World Cup, and even watching like the Euros is fun, but I'm a pretty casual soccer fan. Refs need to be investigated after the Texas game. Look, I don't think it was Texas 3.5, was it? The most I saw was -3. I didn't see a lot of 3.5 today. I mean, y'all let me know. Looks like it did close at 3.5, at least on Fox Bet. So that is crazy. It did close at 3.5 on Fox Bet. On the apps that I have, I saw a lot of -3. A lot of -3. We'll see what happens. But I think -3 is what a lot of people had. Maybe some -3.5 right before kickoff. That hurts. That hurts if it was 3.5. Refs bet on Vandy. Yeah. Texas barely hung on. I wouldn't say that. Barely hung on to me is Vandy had the ball at the 5-yard line and you needed a goal line stand. Otherwise, you would have lost. I don't know. Barely hung on to me is not they needed an onside kick and didn't get it. Even if they would have recovered that onside kick, it's possible they get into field goal range, but they're not scoring a touchdown with 20-something seconds left. So would have still been, I think, a very interesting finish nonetheless. But look, it could have been a lot closer. Let's say that. Only game Texas barely hung on to this season was in Lexington. Can agree with that. Up 24 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, a number of different factors there, though, Robin. Injuries, soft coverage, allowing time to be taken off the clock by Vandy. So a little strategical. Clearly, you don't want to see that many points given up. Refs were not great either, but barely hung on. Again, let me repeat. I would say a team barely hung on if Vandy had the ball at our 2-yard line and we needed a goal line stand with 1 second left to prevent it. When Vandy still needs an onside kick and they've got 20-something seconds left on the clock, even if they get it with no timeouts, yeah, I don't think that's barely hung on. Where is Texas ranked after this? Surely top 15. Surely top 15. I don't understand how it went from 40-16 to 34-30. Pitiful, we need to close. Again, I wouldn't focus so much on that. I mean, we can agree to disagree, brother, but I wouldn't focus on the fact that we barely hung on. Focus on the fact that we beat a top 10 team that a lot of people thought we were going to lose to. You got 2 weeks coming up. You got a bye week coming up. I am not worried about Texas and how they finish today. Look, if anything, I think you'd be happy that it happened. Here's why. And I said it about the Georgia game, and it kind of feels a little bit similar. Let's say Texas wins comfortably today. You don't have a whole lot as a coach to work on. The fact that Texas kind of blew this game a little bit, blew the lead, I should say, the big lead that they had, you got a lot of material as a coach. You got a ton of material over the next 2 weeks. Look, you can definitely make an argument. This is actually probably better for Texas in terms of staying motivated, in terms of their work ethic, working hard. You don't need a lot to get up for a game like Georgia. But you know what? I'll take any little edges that I can get. And this type of finish just gave the coaches a lot to work with over the next 2 weeks. Having Taff out there is going to be huge. Having Taff out there in a couple of weeks is going to be huge. Bro is one of the commanders of the defense out there, right? You got Hill, you got Simmons, but Taff, senior, been there. Having him back is going to be everything. Yeah, Wingo breaking the thumb, not ideal. Just not ideal. What's fortunate is that this offense is not heavily dependent on Wingo. He is a big play guy, and the big plays that he has produced for us have been huge. But it's not like they're giving Wingo 12 targets a game, right? That's kind of my point here. They're not giving Wingo 12 targets a game. And even on the touchdown that Wingo had today, and this is not me trying to discount Ryan Wingo, but merely just go kind of glass half full here. A lot of what they dial up to Wingo, short, quick passes, getting them out in space. I'm not saying that they have a guy that they can slot right in and fill Ryan Wingo's shoes, but look, I'd be a lot more worried if Ryan Wingo was getting 12 to 15 targets a game and you just lost your number one option that's getting the majority of the passing volume. I mean, I don't necessarily know how big of a loss that is. It's going to be hard to quantify until we see. Whoa, SMU interception! SMU interception, Carson Beck. Let's go. Oh, let's go, SMU. Oh, SMU. Thank you. Look, full disclosure, I am not any kind of big SMU fan. I don't mind seeing them do well, but I do like seeing them knock off the number 10 team, and that looks like that's about to happen. And I also don't mind former Georgia quarterback Carson Beck throwing the pick that seals it. Brian, I think garbage time. Yeah, injured players, garbage time, and questionable refereeing, my guy. Field goal wins it for SMU. Let's get it. Like I said, full disclosure, not an SMU fan. Enjoy seeing them do well, as long as it's not at the expense of the Longhorns. Enjoy seeing them do well. But look, anytime you're seeing Carson Beck in Miami get knocked off, we'll take it. We'll take it. Who's he going to blame? Who's Carson Beck going to blame this week? Did y'all see that like a week or two ago? Just throwing his wide receiver under the bus? You ran a wrong route. Come on, dude. You're the quarterback. You're the leader, man. I didn't like that. And look, I don't want to be a hater, but I did not love Carson Beck just throwing his wide receiver under the bus in the media. It's kind of the age we're in right now in sports, unfortunately. Social media, all that stuff. I don't want to sound like old guy, get off my lawn, but man, when you're a leader on a team like that, everybody can see what happens at the end of a game. And you know what? Some things you just got to leave unsaid. You don't need to throw your wide receiver under the bus in a spot like that. You just don't. Little outside zone here, little run, and we're going to get a 3 or 4 yard gain. Just try and make this a little bit of a closer field goal, please. Texas game is over. 34-31 final. Good Texas win 100%. 6 sacks on Pavia was outstanding. David, Mustangs for UT. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What do I think of the O-line? Joe Mama, I will say the O-line today, I think Sark really helped them out with some of the play calling. You had a lot of very quick, just get the ball out play calls from Sark. I think Sark helped out the O-line a lot today with how he called the game. I think you got to give Sark credit. I think he did have an outstanding play sheet, and I think a big part of that was let's not let the O-line be the reason we don't have success today offensively. And so to make that happen, you do a lot of run blocking, and when you do have to pass block, you get the ball out quick. You throw a lot of quick slants, screens, and that's what happened today. I think that was huge to take a little bit of pressure off the O-line. Here we go. We got 1st and 10, handoff. Nice little 7-yard gain there. Hello. Jack, I love reading out the usernames, man. It's part of the fun of this. It's part of the fun of this. Oh. 2nd down and 4 in the overtime period, 20-20. We're just hanging out. We're talking Longhorns football. We're watching SMU try to dethrone Miami here from the number 10 spot. Cancun is great. And I've picked up podcasting as well. Texas Longhorns podcasting. If you're new to the show, by the way, it would not be a show without a Cal Raleigh comp. Although during football season, I get a lot less. Cal Raleigh comps during football season, but still, it wouldn't be a show without it. Buckeyes going to win the ship. I think they've got a great shot. I would like to say somebody knocks them off, but they've got a really good football team. And the only reason I say that, it's not rooted in anything beyond just hope. I hope somebody knocks them off. There are some good teams this year in college football, though. I don't think the Buckeyes are unbeatable, but they are a very, very good team. I'm kneeling right now. They're not going to even kneel it, man. They just run it right in for a touchdown. What do I know? SMU, baby. Good for them. Good for them. Great win. First home win against an AP top 10 since 1974. And they are rushing the field. SMU going to pay that fine. They are rushing the field. Love it. What a scene. Good for them. 26-20. SMU wins this one. Love it. Love, love, love it. UNT might be ranked after today. That's right. They got a quarterback who is balling out. Denton in the house. They do. That quarterback is balling out up there. The mean green, baby. We'll take it. Great win for the Mustangs today over the Hurricanes. Carson Beck throwing the game-losing interception. That hurts. Here they come. I was about to say, this is a pretty small crowd. Come on now. Y'all got to get down there. That was easy. Walking in for the touchdown. Walking in. Fernando, they did have some injuries, though, today. That's the only thing I'll say. And then you are just playing a soft coverage, trying to have Vandy eat up some clock. But I agree, brother. It was not great at the ending. It was not great at the ending. Yeah, he will. Carson Beck will probably blame that interception on somebody. I said that already. Now, who do we got? Notre Dame and Boston College? No, thank you. Let's get it back to that Georgia-Florida game. No, thank you. Boston College, Notre Dame? Nope. All right, here we go. Georgia already up 7-0, though. Like I said, if you're a Texas fan, I don't think you need to be rooting against Georgia. All you're going to get if Georgia loses is a hungrier, more pissed-off Bulldog team. I'd rather them comfortably go into that game at 8-1 with limited edges, at least outside of the X's and O's, outside of the white lines. I don't want any extra motivation for Georgia. No extra motivation. Aggies are still undefeated. We keep rolling. Appreciate all you guys. What other upset could help the Horns today that's realistic? Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you for all the questions. David, let's look today. I actually was going to do this anyways to close out the show, but let's go ahead. Let's pull up all of the results from today. I mean, clearly this Hurricanes loss is going to help out Texas a lot. And look, we've been real, because I know some people like to correct me real quick. You know, bro, the rankings, they don't really matter, whatever. You know what, the rankings, I've always enjoyed when the rankings come out. And, you know, as a kid, you'd always look to see where's Texas going to be ranked. To me, it's part of the fun. So I know there's some people that really think that the rankings are stupid and whatever. To me, it's part of the fun. So I'm always going to enjoy talking about the rankings. But if you got to be the fun sucker, if you got to be the killer of joy when it comes to discussing rankings, you do you. But I always think it's fun. So here's what we got. Top 25. Let's start there. You've got Louisville currently losing to Virginia Tech. That would help Texas. It's 9-7 right now in the second quarter. Virginia Tech has the ball, and they are driving. So Louisville potentially going to lose today. Maryland is beating Indiana. Maryland is beating Indiana 3-0 right now. Looks like Indiana has the ball at their own 7-yard line. It's about halfway through the first quarter. Georgia, of course, we're watching that game. Notre Dame, Boston College, Texas Tech, Kansas State. Kansas State is up 7-0 right now. So look, I think a lot of these are realistic. Like Kansas State, I think could beat Tech. I think Virginia Tech could beat Louisville. I don't feel great about Maryland hanging on against Indiana. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see who else. Ole Miss, South Carolina. I think Ole Miss wins that game. I don't think Purdue is going to beat Michigan in the big house. I cannot see NC State knocking off Georgia Tech. I think Tennessee, Oklahoma. I think Tennessee probably wins that game. I don't think OU is going to be winning on the road. I mean, look, y'all see who I'm repping right now on the hat, on the shirt. Clearly, I'm not cheering for Oklahoma, but I would bet on Tennessee to win that game. I think it's a pretty small line. I think it's like -3. I'd take Tennessee at home to win that game. USC is ranked below Texas. They are playing Nebraska in Lincoln. We've got Utah, I think, with a shot to beat Cincinnati. Utah and Cincinnati play tonight at 7:15. Cincinnati is number 17. Utah number 24. So look, there's a lot in there, man. There's a lot in there. Absolutely. Fernando, appreciate the follow. How much do I think we move up in the rankings? I think Texas is going to be top 15. I would find it really hard to believe if Texas is not top 15. What else we got? Gary, appreciate the follow, man. Thank you so much. Horns today, hold on, against Vandy, 34-31. We're talking about it. We're talking about some other college football games going on. We're watching Georgia, Florida right now. 7-0. Bulldogs up early. Georgia at a 4th and 1, or Florida at a 4th and 1. Going to punt it away right now. Sends it deep. Looks like a fair catch at the 15-yard line. So Georgia will take over. Georgia 6-1, Florida 3-4. Swamp, a tough place to play. See if Georgia can conquer it here. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. And thank you for everybody that has followed so far. What else we got? Galatians 2:20. Christ lives in me, baby. Yes, sir. Appreciate the comment. Horns just need to keep the noise out of mind. They'll be fine. I think it's actually been helping them a little bit, Brian. I think the noise has actually been fueling them, brother. Like, you listen to Sark in his interviews, and you know that all these players are on social media. I actually think some of the noise has been fueling their play. I mean, I agree with the principle. You don't want to allow that to be your main focus. But I really do appreciate that some of these guys are just real. They're reading what people are writing, and they're using it as motivation. Seriously. All right. I put ShareBear in timeout so we can stop with the spamming of the chat. Without Taff, I'm with you, Rohan. The secondary has looked a little lost. Dakota, almost keyword. I think there's a lot of factors at the end there. I'm not too worried about how it closed out. Not too worried at all. Hook 'em horns, baby. Appreciate the comment. They're not going to beat Georgia. Texas A&M losing at least one. I don't know if I would say that's a slam dunk that Georgia wins that game. I think Texas has a pretty legitimate shot to win, especially coming off a bye week, getting guys healthy. I think Texas has a very good shot to win. Could they lose? Absolutely. Would I be shocked if they lost? No. Would I be shocked if they won? Absolutely not. I think they've got a good squad, and I think this Texas team routinely shows you that they will play up to the competition almost every time. It was a 14-7 game in the shoe, first game of the year. I mean, they had a chance at the end to tie that game. So I am not worried about Texas showing up. I think that's going to be a pretty good game. I think Taft will be back for Georgia. I think he will be back. He was doubtful today, so I would imagine that 2 more weeks he'll be back. Hey, what's good? Appreciate the comment. David, I agree with that 100%. Texas is so trash. That's why they keep winning, right? Everybody tells me every week that this team is going to lose. Every team's fans tell me every week that they're going to beat us. No question. I had multiple Vandy people in the comments telling me that they were for sure knocking us off. But it is what it is. They just keep winning. They just keep winning. I think we could be as high as 10. I think we land somewhere in between 10 and 15. Look, I know that's not a hot take, but I would be a little surprised if we jumped top 10. I think we could be as high as 10, but I think it's going to be somewhere between 10 and 15. Yeah, Fernando, I wouldn't be surprised if Wingo is out for a little bit. It's nice that he has a couple of weeks here. Maybe they can get creative and still find a way to get him involved. I don't know. It depends. But I think that at this point, at least the way this offense is set up, touchdown Florida. I think the way with this offense is set up, they're going to be okay without Wingo. I don't want to make it seem like Wingo isn't that important of a player. I think he is, but this offense is set up. Arch threw the ball to 10 different guys today. I think he hit 10 plus different receivers today. I mean, does that sound like an offense that is going to go to crap without Wingo? I know Wingo does a good job stretching the field and really making the defense be concerned and be overly concerned about that deep ball. But when you got Arch throwing to 10 different receivers, is anybody really thinking that Wingo being gone is going to cause some epic meltdown with the offense? I would be surprised. Arch today, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 receivers today. I'm not too worried. Not too worried about Arch and the passing game. I think it's going to be just fine. Florida ties it up. Let's go. David, appreciate you, brother. Hey, yeah, give that screen a couple of taps, man. You know what? I could do a much better job hyping y'all up in the chat. Sometimes I just get on my soapbox and can't get off of it. Plus, I got like YouTube and X and Instagram going as well. Hey, appreciate you, Jack. Thanks for hanging out, man. K-Straw, I don't know if you're still hanging out, but oh yeah, spent a lot of time in Nebraska. That's where I went to college, not to the University of Nebraska, real small school, pretty close to Lincoln, pretty close to the University of Nebraska. Played some baseball there. David, I got you. David, this just goes to show you how old man-esque I am when it comes to the TikTok lives. I'm pretty sure that's the first time I've ever pinned a comment. I think some of my long timers can attest to that. I think that's probably the first time I've ever pinned a comment. OMG, Texas is not a top 15. You actually think Arch is all of a sudden great one game? I would argue 2 games, right? How can you argue against what he did against Mississippi State? He had like 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. So I don't know if we can just say, oh, 1 game. Arch was outstanding against Mississippi State in Starkville. I think Arch has shown you a natural progression. Are we crowning Arch as the Heisman winner? No. Are we saying Arch is now suddenly elite and there's no turning back? He's never going to have another hiccup as long as he plays? No. But I think it's undeniable. You're seeing a progression. You're seeing him get better and better, get more comfortable. He was great today. Doesn't mean he's going to be great against Georgia, but I do feel a lot better going into the Georgia game with what Arch has been able to accomplish over the last 2 games, especially playing on the road that entire month. Like you're playing at, the Cotton Bowl. I know that that's kind of a 50-50 split. You're playing at Kentucky. You're playing at Starkville. Arch doing this on the road with back up against the wall after the Florida loss, it's huge. I like Texas is always going to be my favorite, man. It's always going to be my favorite. Arch hitting his receivers. Running game looks good. Hopefully the bye doesn't take the steam out. I don't think it will. I think it's actually going to be a good time for a reset for some guys health-wise. I think it's going to be good to get everyone back. And then I think you have 2 weeks of Sark preparing the play sheet for Georgia. I like it. I don't think it's going to be a situation where they come out flat. How could you against Georgia, right? I just don't see it happening. Texas Tech is number 13. Yep. That's West Virginia won? Jeez, good for them. Good for them. Y'all will lose 2 more games this year. That's what they keep telling us. Look, I'm not saying I can't see it. I mean, could they lose 2 more games? Sure. I think, sorry, just watching this game real quick. I think that as you look at the schedule, yeah, they could drop the Georgia game. They could drop the A&M game. Or you could win one of those games. You could win both those games, and then maybe SEC championship, it starts getting a little dicey. I don't know. I think going undefeated the rest of the season is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I mean, that means you got to win a championship. Or if you only have 3 losses, that means you're losing in the playoff at some point. Man, that was a great touchdown find for Florida. Like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing Georgia lose this game, but I just do not want to see them any more motivated than what they need to be coming into that Texas game. Can't watch anything because of YouTube TV. I had to ditch YouTube TV, y'all. I was not trying to go a Saturday. I mean, I do this for work, obviously. I try to do this for a living. So, I'm not at all trying to miss a day of college football. So I went and I broke down and I bought Fubo. I'm not trying to do a day full of illegal streaming either. So we broke down and bought it. Who do I got winning tonight? Give me Jays. Give me Max Scherzer. Look, former Texas Ranger, former World Series champion, still World Series champion, not former. Still World Series champion for the Rangers, for the Nats. Give me Max Scherzer in a Game 7. I like it. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Jaden, appreciate the follow, man. Thanks so much. Should have had that PI in the end zone 100%. On that Mosley non-catch, that was 1,000,000% PI. I mean, it's clear as day. Clear as day PI. Didn't help that we missed the field goal, but it was clear as day. And, the refs had an interesting fourth quarter. We'll just say that. Ohtani in a Game 7. That's going to be crazy. I mean, look, it's definitely... Oh! Interception! And he stays on his feet! Oh! Georgia. The Swamp, man. Something about it. Georgia might still win this game, but the Swamp is a tough place to play, man. It is a tough place to play. Right now, Florida's taking over in Georgia territory. 7-7 ball game. Look, I will say this. The only positive here is if Florida wins today, you have a much better argument that Florida loss was not that bad. So if you're Texas, it's kind of a catch-22. I don't think you want Florida to beat Georgia and then have the Bulldogs fired up and motivated even more so coming into that game in Athens in a couple of weeks here. But on the flip side, if Florida is able to win today, that loss that Texas suffered in the Swamp several weeks ago looks a lot better. A lot better. All right, we got Florida taking over at the 38. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. Oh, good. We got over 5,000. Over 5,000 likes. Yes, sir. Hot takes. Appreciate the follow, too. Thank you so much. Big gain. Wilson the third with the catch. And we have got Florida in business in the red zone. Good little RPO there. He was wide open. That was a beautiful RPO. Off subject, sad to see Maddox go. Yeah, look, Michael, me as well. I like Mike Maddox a lot, but you guys know I don't want to make my videos or make my take sound like Mike Maddox isn't that important. I just think Texas has too many good things going in the pitching department. I know Mike Maddox is going to be a loss, but you've still got DeGrom. You've still got Evo. Those guys are not going to magically forget how to pitch without Mike Maddox. And I know some people have said, Jack Leiter, he develops so much with Mike. It's a lot more than Mike Maddox, though, with Jack Leiter's development. They've got developmental guys. They've got assistant coaches. Dave Bush, I think that might be a prime candidate for the pitching coach spot. Just go ahead and promote Dave Bush. I think he'd be great. He was a pitching coach with Boston. He knows all the verbiage. He knows what they like to do. I think that would be awesome. So I think Texas is going to be okay. I really do. Oh, it's not at the Swamp today. Mike, appreciate that. It's not at the Swamp today. Okay. In Jacksonville. That's right. My bad on that. So that's why I was noticing so much red in the stands. That makes a lot more sense. I'm like, man, for a home game for Florida, there is a lot of red in the stands right now. Now it's making sense, brother. I appreciate you. I do think it was a mutual decision because Texas, I think, could have thrown money out there and probably gotten him to stay. I do think it was a mutual decision. Matt, appreciate the like on the live. Thanks so much, man. We are college football, but we're kind of mixing in a few different sports. But this is a college football live primarily. But, we cover a number of different teams here, right on Rangers, Longhorns, Rangers, of course, the Mavs, Dallas Mavericks, and then we also cover the Dallas Cowboys as well. So those four main teams, and then we just talk ball, right? We're watching Georgia and Florida right now, just hanging out. Wes, appreciate the comment, man. Hook 'em. Arch Manning, 24-6 touchdown to interception ratio, but media talks like he's a terrorist. Yeah, that's why I was saying somebody was bringing up Marcel Reed, A&M quarterback for Heisman. They actually did a comp on Marcel Reed stats with Arch Manning stats, and it was like, Marcel Reed really not that special stat-wise in comparison to Arch Manning. But Marcel Reed, much better reputation in the media as being a better quarterback. Excuse me. Let me see here. Marcel Reed versus Arch Manning. Let's check the stats and just see what we got. A&M's on a bye, by the way. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find anything too quick here. That's 1 month ago. I think what I'm finding, I'm not going to be able to find the comparison. I'm going to just look up Marcel Reed box score or stats, and then we'll pull up Arch's as well. But I think Marcel gets a lot more love because of what he can do on the ground, and Arch is a great runner as well. Like, seriously, Arch is a great runner as well, but he's not quite as electric in the run game as Marcel Reed is. All right, Marcel Reed stats. 1972 through the air. Okay, this is good. Let me get Arch Manning's numbers up here. I think it's going to surprise some of you guys that haven't explored this because you just wouldn't even know that Arch Manning was in the same stratosphere as Marcel Reed based on how the media portrays it. Okay, so we've got for the overview. Come on now. All right, Arch stats this year, 1,800 yards through the air, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Marcel Reed, 1972, so a little bit more passing yards, 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Rushing, he's got 349 yards on the ground, 6 interceptions. Arch rushing, 200 yards with 6 rushing touchdowns as well. Marcel Reed is besting him, like 100%. Marcel Reed has the better stats, and he's having the better season as a team. Of course, A&M's undefeated, but it's really not that big of a difference. It's kind of crazy. If you just look at the stats, it's not like Arch is trailing big time to Marcel Reed. Same number of rushing touchdowns, 2 less passing touchdowns, about 180 less passing yards, and roughly about 150 less rushing yards. It is not that big of a gap. Same amount of interceptions for sure. Arch should have 18 passing touchdowns, 100% he should. Appreciate all you guys hanging out. Look, we got a couple of weeks off here, don't we? We got a couple of weeks off. I do not think that we will be live next weekend. Cowboys are having a bye too, so we don't get Longhorns or Cowboys football next weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do. My wife is going to probably have a party, though. She's a good sport. She loves she obviously loves supporting me and what I do, but I know if that is going to be music to her ears when she hears double bye. I'm not going to say this, just in case she's listening. I better not say this too loud. Longhorns and Cowboys have a bye next week. She's going to be so happy. The baseball game tonight's at 5. Baseball game tonight is at 5. We'll be watching the World Series. I'll be doing some tweeting during that too. Hey, if any of y'all on TikTok, you want to get some live in-game stuff, I post on X pretty frequently. I post on Threads as well, Facebook. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on like everything, man. I have no preference. I just tried to start as many different accounts on as many different platforms as I can, and then I found a couple of apps that let me get it all out at the same time. So, hey, follow me on one of those if you want some live tweeting during some of the games. If you want to follow me along watching the World Series tonight. I don't think I'm going to go live for the World Series. A couple of people are asking me, am I going to go live? Nah, I don't think I'm going to go live tonight. I think I'm just going to enjoy the game, and I'll send out some tweets during the game as well. But we'll look forward to watching tonight, and then for the offseason to fully get up and running. That's going to be great. Yeah, no football next week. Unfortunately, we got to go outside, Brian. Unfortunately, man. Do I follow any other Canadian sports? I like hockey a lot. I'm a very casual hockey fan, but I like hockey a lot. Post a live on MLB free agent talk next week. We will be going live on Wednesday. Jay Moore, Wednesday is when we go live for baseball. So Wednesday around 6:30, 7 o'clock Central Time. It's about 4:30 or 5 out here in Vegas for me on the West Coast. So if you want baseball talk, Wednesday's our day, brother. Come back on Wednesday. I know you can schedule lives on TikTok. I need to figure out how to do that to get you guys notified. But it's every Wednesday, and it's usually about 6:30 or 7 Central Time. What would that be? 7:30 or 8 Eastern. 4:30 or 5 Pacific. So come show up. Let's talk MLB free agents. We're going to have some fun. Obviously, we have more of a Texas Rangers focus, but we talk about all free agents. We'll talk any rumors that we've heard from around the league. That should be great, man. Looking forward to it. Tucker with you, but, a lot of garbage points in my opinion. Playing a soft defense. He got some guys out hurt. Michael Taft not playing. You had a few other guys who were filling in who got injured as well. So, look, I don't really feel like it was quite as in question as it's getting made out to be. Even if Vandy recovers that onside kick, they got 25 seconds with no timeouts. Not impossible, but Texas still thinks stands a pretty good chance to win that ball game. So they were playing the clock game at the end for sure. Overall, good with the win, but there's no reason that game should be that close. Philip, I'm with you. I'm definitely not trying to say, hey, that was a great finish. What I did say is a win's a win, survive in advance, and now the coaches and the players, they have a little material to work with. You can keep that edge, right? The coaches, after a blowout win, everybody's riding high, right? You have this kind of finish. I kind of like there's a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a chip going into the bye week. I don't know. That's me and how I'm always going to frame things, which is a little glass half full. You guys know that about me by now. But clearly you would have liked to see them kept their foot on the gas the entire time. Nothing crazy with the hot stove. Nothing crazy with the hot stove. I haven't heard a whole lot. Although, Brian, I think a lot is probably going to heat up at some point or another after the World Series is over. I think you might even see some stuff tomorrow. Maybe even later tonight, as crazy as that sounds. So we'll see what happens. Appreciate all you guys. I got to take off, but we are going to be back on Wednesday. Actually, it'll probably be before then. I'll probably do an NFL live at some point, either Sunday or Monday. Cowboys don't play till Monday night, and I actually have some things going on Monday night. I think I said at the beginning of the live, my team that I coach, my tackle football team, I coach a middle school team here in town. We have our final game of the season on Monday night. So we're going to have to figure out a way to work around that for our Cowboys live. We'll either do a Tuesday live, a late night Monday live, or we'll work something else out. We'll go live at some point. But that's the plan. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for your support of the show. Thank you for the comments. Help keep the show fresh. Appreciate everybody that's followed on the show so far today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday and a good Sunday ahead. And as I always say to end every show, God bless and hook 'em.